Why is a company of Tesla's size having so much of polarizing views among Wall Street analysts?
Electric vehicles are going to continue to gain share and really take over the market in the next 5 years.
For whatever reason, Musk is a target on his back, and so I don't know what happens if something happens with the leadership role in that company.
For the Brian Sullivan quote, do they want an EV or they just want a Tesla?
No, all that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market almost 1%, sitting at $191 per share. I was actually able to make a little bit of money for the first time in 2024 with a Tesla call. It was a little over 50%, but sometimes you just gotta take the win, you know what I mean? As soon as that options contract cleared, I immediately placed a 190 put that expires on February 16th. Just a protective put. Tesla stock has a tendency to be volatile. It might have an extreme reaction to the downside. And taking a look at the 3-month chart, you can see that it's a little bit on the negative side, just a little over 14%. Should the stock climb over 205, then I might think about reversing course and putting money back into calls. But until that happens, I think I'll be a little bit put happy.
Why is a company of Tesla's size having so much of polarizing views among Wall Street analysts? Is it a car company? Is it a tech company? Or is it like a weird amalgamation of a car and a tech company? And I think that question has not been solved yet. When we look at the Wall Street analysts who cover this stock, so for the other 6 big companies, it's largely analysts who cover the technology space, right? For Tesla, you would see it's a mix of analysts who cover car companies.
Tech analysts cover tech stocks. Car analysts cover Tesla stock. This is exactly what you get when you get a person that understands and recognizes tech as special, and an automotive analyst who doesn't understand tech but definitely understands cars and how the automotive process works. You get this Grand Canyon-sized gap of what the value of this company should be. Battery electric vehicles aren't internal combustion engines. This is a transformational product. Sure, both have wheels, both have doors, both have windows, but the internal makeup, the supply chains, those are drastically different. And then you have another step change. Teslas aren't like regular EVs. This is why tech analysts cover Tesla. It's this gap that has my cash register singing. There's nothing more to say.
You're buying into stocks that can be very volatile. The knives have been out, as you've probably seen, people coming up, Morningstar, et cetera. They've come after you. But I would imagine your message to investors is we are investing in some companies that are going to boom wildly and become 10Xers. And there's other companies that may go away because these are the high-tech AI investments. I would imagine that is got to be a clear message to people watching and the people sitting behind you right there, Cathie.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're saying if you get on the right side of change, these companies will deliver super exponential growth. What does that mean? It means not only rapid growth sustained, but an acceleration in growth. For example, Tesla is going through a lull right now related to the cycle. But when autonomous taxi networks, platforms kick in, as we think they will within the next 2 years, I will say, then what we're talking about with Tesla is a re-acceleration in growth and a huge increase in margins because robo-taxi platforms are SaaS models, software as a service models. We have a lot of stories like that in our portfolio, and they are highly misunderstood.
Don't see a lot of car companies on that ARK Innovation ETF. A lot of tech, a lot of software as a service type things. I wonder why Tesla would be considered a top holding in this fund.
A company that feels like some are starting to understand it less lately, Cathie, is of course Tesla. It's not performing, and it feels like everybody everywhere is going after Elon Musk all the time. It is your second biggest holding. Are you holding on, and how should investors view Tesla right now?
Yes, well, we report our trades every day, and you will see that we have been buying Tesla. There is so much negative psychology in the stock right now around electric vehicles themselves which we think is misplaced. We think electric vehicles are going to continue to gain share and really take over the market in the next 5 years. EVs, we think, will be the bulk of the market in the next 5 years. So, and then beyond that, robo-taxis are going to change the landscape entirely. So our target price, published target price, which is going to change, is roughly $2,000.
I'm sorry, what was your fair value estimate there?
Our target price, published target price, which is going to change, is roughly $2,000. The stock is a little below $200. So we're talking about a 10x in our base case, and that's not even our bull case.
Woo, that's just the base case. As a matter of fact, I've got to redo my price target just to make sure I got all the decimal points in the right place, because my bear case seems like many people's bull case, my base case seems ridiculous, and my bull case, updating my fair value estimates and my options tracker are the goals that I have for this weekend.
Let's get to some of the names that you're bearish on. There's a lot of Tesla folks out there. They love it, even though it's had some pullbacks. Is it a buy when it's 20% cheaper? And you say no.
No, because it still could be lower. Tesla, again, overall, talking about going with the trend, Tesla's in a downtrend. I don't know if you talked about this a couple of days ago. There was news out. It wasn't just a lawsuit last week about Tesla that didn't get found in Elon Musk's favor. And now they're discussing the fact that he's talking about different people doing drugs. I don't know why that's news to anyone. He's never made it a secret about the drugs that he's done. But for whatever reason, Musk is a target on his back. And so I don't know what happens if something happens with the leadership role in that company, because Tesla needs Musk, in my opinion. And I think that overall, that stock is on shaky ground. It's still in a downtrend.
Let's be clear, I'm still buying Tesla shares. This is an incredible discount. But in case the market is acting like this beautiful lady right here, placing a protective put doesn't sound all that crazy.
Wedbush out with a new note on the EV leader saying, quote, "It is time for the board to change the Tesla narrative with 3 things that need to occur to make change happen." Okay, 3 things. Number 1, create a new comp package that supersedes this 2018 one. What do you want to see?
Look, $40 to $50 right now overhang on the stock because of this. The Delaware situation, I believe they need a comp package to supersede the 2018. Ultimately, Musk gets that package. This has been...
You want to see him get paid?
You want to see him get paid. This has already been approved by shareholders. Stop the nonsense.
Pay that man his money.
And I think this is something that the board needs to act now.
So, I mean, the judge in Delaware, of course, everybody's saying, oh, it's politicized, who knows, whatever. But you think the board needs to come up with something new to compensate Elon Musk? By the way, keep him there, keep him happy, and keep that AI in-house, because he kind of threatened to walk.
Musk is the heart and lungs of Tesla. Tesla is Musk, Musk is Tesla. And I think that's something that's very, very important at this juncture. Clock struck midnight. Board needs to come out and act. 30 at least.
And your 3 points are kind of in the 2 that we talked about, which is the new comp package, the comp package for the 25% share bogey, as you call it, and then moving that state of incorporation to Texas. Generally, what has been the problem with Tesla stock, Dan? What in your mind? Is it BYD threats? Is it interest rates? Is it something else?
I think there's 2 big reasons. I mean, one, we talked about that call. It was obviously a debacle in terms of the conference call, not putting some line in the sand in terms of the price cuts are done. Investors need to understand that most of that price cuts are done, margins expand from here. I think, one, that's been a huge overhang.
To Dan Ives' credit, the margins actually may improve. Price cuts may be in the rearview mirror. Tesla has indicated that their growth would be considerably smaller than in 2023. Now, it's no guarantee. Tesla's going to do whatever they've got to do to get new customers into the seats of their vehicles. If that means cutting prices on industry-leading margins, I'm afraid that's what's going to happen. But just looking around the cul-de-sac in my little area, there's more and more Teslas in these driveways, people.
2, you talk about overall EV demand, which you talk about, do a great job on the show.
Well, people think
no, but the
I honestly, people come at me, but I've been correct. It's not because I'm smart. It's because I talk to dealers all over the country.
Yeah, and
that's it. Tesla does not have dealers, So I can't talk to them to figure out how it's going. I have to talk to you.
The EV demand issue is because not all companies are built like Tesla. Manufacturing battery electric vehicles at scale, other automobile manufacturers, startups, legacy auto manufacturers included, are realizing this isn't as easy as Tesla makes it look. How the are they making any money off of this? We gotta scale back. We can't keep doing this. We'll go out of business. That's why there's an EV slowdown. On those dealership lots, there are no compelling EVs. Unless you see a used Tesla on the lot, which in my experience, they don't stay there for very long. No one wants a lateral step change from an internal combustion engine to a battery electric vehicle. They have to be compelling. The juice has to be worth the squeeze when making the trade-offs for an internal combustion engine to a battery electric vehicle.
For the Brian Sullivan quote, do they want an EV or they just want a Tesla?
No, I've said, I don't want to offend anybody. Teslas are for people that are more tech-oriented, that want to be moved around. EVs are for car people.
Exactly. And to your point, this is a look, it's a moment of truth. This is a moment of truth time for the Tesla story. Show demand is going to continue to be there, which we believe it is, including in China. Stop the price cuts. Let the board come out, show that Musk is there. And at that point, we believe that's worth $40 to $50 per share to the stock.
We had Cathie Wood on last night. She's a $2,000 price target on Tesla.
Look, I believe...
I mean, that makes you look bearish by comparison.
I believe we will at one point in the next 3 to 4 years be talking about Tesla, not just at $1 trillion, at $2 trillion. And I think this is just a moment they need to navigate. But that's why for the board, it's time to act. It's time to set the foundation for the future.
I agree with Dan Ives on most points. I'm not a big fan of this margin story thing. I think it's irrelevant. The most important thing Tesla can do right now is sell as many of these vehicles as they possibly can. Because with the flip of a switch, an over-the-air software update, the millions of Teslas that are already on the road can get over a $10,000 injection toward their margins. Right now, FSD costs around 12 grand. 12 grand? Let's just say we multiply that by 1 million cars. You get what I'm saying? The margin story is irrelevant when compared to the growth story. Considerably lower growth in 2024 would have me shaking in my boots if I weren't more knowledgeable about the situation. Just around the corner, Tesla will unveil its next generation vehicle platform. In about 18 months, I fully expect those first vehicles to be rolling out of Giga Austin. I expect Giga Mexico to be pumping them out faster than anybody has ever seen. Talk about growth potential. And then you add the margin story to it. When all of these dominoes fall, don't be surprised when TSLA soars past Cathie Wood's base case and heads to the moon. In conclusion, is Tesla a car company or a tech company? Can it be both? Despite the 2024 lull with Tesla, Cathie Wood over there at ARK Invest has not been deterred. The bears, financial news media, and even some former Tesla bulls have turned on Elon Musk and the stock. Dan Ives believes that this is merely a rough patch on their way to being a multi-trillion-dollar company. So many opinions surrounding TSLA. I have no doubts that Tesla will be a multi-trillion-dollar company by the end of the decade. Question is, when will Wall Street see that? That's all I have for you today. Be easy. Peace.